Moments to prepare for the game and the task ahead. The commute in full swing as we get set for basketball here in the San Francisco Bay Area. Welcome everyone to the NBA on 2K Sports. Along with Brent Barry, Greg Anthony, and David Aldridge, Kevin Harlan. And joining us tonight, Emmy-nominated writer-producer Bill Simmons. Again, you're in the seat, and again, we're so lucky to have you.
I can't believe Brent Barry's here. How'd you get him?
Let's see what the Brooklyn Nets have coming up. On Tuesday, they'll be matching up against Gordon Hayward and the man with pregame.
Well,
all right, thanks, DA. So the Nets starting five. We've got Kawhi Leonard. Durant is out there with Moses Malone. Then there's Drexler, and it's Robertson in at the point guard. And for the Warriors, they've got Thomas Satoransky. Reed out there with Magic Johnson. Then it's Jordan, and it's Embiid in at the center filling out the middle. And so off the tip, it's Brooklyn. Now Robertson. Now the pass to Leonard. Down low, Embiid with the steal. Johnson surveying the floor. Pass to Satoransky. Pass to Jordan. Just 5 to shoot. Johnson for 3. That shot no good. Nice defense from KD. He dishes it to Robertson. Passes to Leonard. He's off on that one. The Warriors go the other way. They just couldn't come out on top last time they took on the Nets. That one was played in Brooklyn.
And it's going to come down to effort tonight. Last time they met each other, they were demolished on the boards, and that rebounding difference led to a sizable loss.
Well, let's see if the lesson was learned from that loss. If they come out with the same type of effort, they can expect a similar result here.
Here's Johnson. The dish to Embiid. And even after 2 offensive rebounds, they just can't get the lid off. Here's Drexler. The rebound by Johnson. The Warriors have gone 0 of 3 from the field to start the game. You've been producing documentaries, going deeper into athlete stories, which I know you love, because I think you're curious more than anything else.
Yeah.
So what drew you to that process?
Initially, it was we dove into these stories. We thought that was the inefficiency of, instead of these big, broad type of documentaries, concentrate on events and players and moments and things like that. And I think as you get into that and you start doing it, it just becomes intoxicating. And the cool thing about it is no story should be told the same way you would tell somebody else's story. You just don't know. You got to figure it out. Like we had Steve Nash his last Lakers season. He wanted to do a documentary about it, and then we spitballed it, and we decided it was actually a better idea to do an in-the-moment digital series about it that you could experience in one time when you think. And it was the right idea, and that was really good. I think trying to figure out what story clicks the best with an athlete, how to tell whatever story they have correctly is the coolest part about that.
That one falls, so he hits both of them.
And the defining trait of the greatest of superstars, Jordan makes the players around him better, mentally, in terms of effort, and in terms of their performance.
Drains it from beyond the arc.
And that's exactly what he's looking for, draining the triple.
Great D that time from Durant.
He gets a lot of points right there at the rim, but the defense determined not to give up the easy deuce there.
And Bill, we've seen more and more teams base their offenses around three-point shooters. Threes are at an all-time high. We know that. Should the NBA, that in mind, do anything to address this via any rule change? Which I don't know what that would mean, but it has been talked about.
I don't like changing. I think it's going to manifest itself with it doesn't work in the playoffs as well. And teams are going to slowly realize like that you need to blend an inside-outside game at least a little bit.
Well, you can't lose what the game is.
No,
it's bigs and smalls, it's inside, it's outside.
And it's still passing and unselfishness. The Warriors take a lot of threes, but they're the most unselfish team we have, and they create a lot of layups, and they play, you know, they're really creative. And you just can't, that just can't be your thing is we shoot 53s, here's our offense. The problem is you're still going to get in these games where 2 points really matters, you know, and that's what you saw with Kawhi in the playoffs last year. These games slow down, it's going to be a 92-89 ending, and your team needs to get 10 baskets in the fourth quarter, no matter how you're going to get them. You still need somebody who can do that too.
Looking at who's out there now for the Warriors. Mo Wagner's checked in for Reed. Thon Maker comes in for Magic Johnson. John Wall's checked in for Satoransky. And Morris subbed in for Jordan. Here's Embiid. Now on the scoring column with that bucket. 1 for 2 this game.
Uncovered at the rim, finding cracks in the defense here early on.
Just really smart basketball and exploiting whatever holes that he's seeing right now in the defensive squad.
How about the timing he shows there to challenge that shot?
Yeah, not easy to do there, and that's a guy that you can tell takes every possession defensively very serious.
All right, a chance to check out numbers for Harden, coming off a terrific season. Last season, averaging 36 points a game, 7 assists and 6 rebounds. And you look at the numbers he's been putting up, fantastic scoring production from him.
Yeah, hard to ask for anything more at this point. He's really stepped up, and he's really delivered.
The Nets making a switch here. McGee's checked in. And so it's Hill with it. He brings it up for Brooklyn. Inside, Jokic laid in with a nice touch off the glass.
Like to see George Hill distribute to his teammates a heads-up play there.
Warriors trail by 4. All with it. And the pass to Maker. And Wall slams it home.
My goodness, that was absolutely filthy.
Nasty. This building is stunned. He dug deep, Greg, into his bag of tricks there. Just 2 seconds between shot clock and game clock. Harden against Wall. Here is Harden. From deep three-point range. Unable to get that one. At the end of one, a closely contested game so far. And Kevin Durant talked about his teammates and the versatility this roster has.
I like our depth. I like that we could play, you know.
It's clear KD is very happy playing with this group of guys.
That's why he signed here. But you can bet Durant is going to be leading the charge.
And if you're just tuning in, it's been a pretty even game through the first quarter. And taking a look at the Nets' performance here, guys, what jumps out to you, stats-wise?
Hey, why take jump shots when you can get your points at the rim?
Yeah, that worked wonders for them in the quarter. We'll see what kind of adjustments get made.
All fueled up and ready to go. Let's reset the lineups, courtesy of Gatorade, as the second quarter gets going. So for the Golden State Warriors right now, we've got Monte Morris, Wagner out there with Maker, then it's Thomas, and it's Wall in at the 2. Bill, you wear so many hats, writing, producing, performing. You're running the ringer, which is highly successful. What role satisfies you the most?
I would say working with young people and trying to help them get better. I think that's the coolest thing you can do, especially if you feel like you've done some good stuff and accomplished some things and realized some dreams. Like the next thing to do is just to, can you help other people get to where they should go?
Well, a lot of this wasn't around when you and I were growing up. So
No.
what were your dreams?
My dream initially was just to write a sports column that people read. That's what I wanted forever, yeah. And then the most satisfying thing is just not knowing what's next, but taking chances and hoping things are going to be fun and work out. You have to have a good team around you, and you have to have like 6 or 7 awesome people that you completely trust who can help you do stuff, because it's impossible to do everything yourself, especially if you're trying to increase the scale of what you're doing. And I think that even works for an NBA organization. You know, it's not like one person learning everything. I would say putting a good team around you is the most important thing.
And Bill, when it comes to NBA awards, some people have said voter fatigue is a fact. Would you agree with that?
No, I actually think NBA awards are in the best shape they've been in because people are afraid to screw up. You know, that with the internet and the accountability we have now.
Accountability, exactly.
And we
There's
also,
nothing anonymous about. I mean, I'm
no.
Yeah.
And we have really good numbers and metrics now, and I actually think we make the right decisions with this stuff most of the time now. I didn't really see any egregious stuff last year other than the one person who voted Dwayne Wade for second team All-NBA.
You get a vote, don't you?
I do, and I take it really seriously.
I do too.
Yeah.
I feel the same way.
I really care
Our
about
name
it.
is attached to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also, like, when I wrote my book, I really relied on the All-NBA stuff. Like, they're a snapshot of what happened that season.
Good point.
And it's about the want to. That's what Reed gives you. He can be the heart, the soul, and the backbone of your team.
Good on the bucket. Bill, if you were just hired as a GM, which franchise would you model your approach after?
I really like what the Clippers did the last couple of years when they realized they didn't have quite enough to win the title. And instead of just being beholden to being darn close but not quite, they actually like blew it up and tried to figure out how to create cap space, find some young players.
And still stay competitive.
Build
So
the
they kept the
nucleus.
momentum of their franchise.
Yeah, they stumbled into a situation where they had a lot of flexibility no matter what. I think the Celtics before them did the same thing in the mid-2000s. They're just trying to find assets and figure it out on the fly. That's the approach I would use. I would never fully commit one way or the other to anything. The goal is to try to accumulate assets and figure out what you have. And I think the smartest teams do that.
Harden outside. Shot is good off the back rim and in. Harden's got it all tied up now for the Nets.
Yeah, this story in the second quarter much different than the one in the first. We're finally seeing some aggression.
Leonard with the steal. Here's Malone. And the layup is good after a nice lead pass.
Well, when you get into a system, your first system in the league where you share the ball, Kawhi Leonard keeping his head up and finding the open man.
Well, Bill, I know you've got to run. Marvelous to have you on the program. Wish we could do it more often.
Let's do it right now. I don't have to run. Can I stay?
Yes, you can
All
always
right.
stay.
I don't want to leave.
You have a free ticket here anytime you want.
I want to stay, please.
The microphone's always open.
Thank you.
You know, Brent, it's a different kind of broadcast with Bill Simmons mic'd up. He lets it rip.
Well, the thing about Bill is he's not going to hold back. He has some great, strong opinions, and he backs it up with a lot of facts due to the fact that he knows the history of the game quite well.
Here's Drexler, and Drexler throws it down.
How about the explosive vertical there? Not much you can do to stop Drexler once he gets to the rim.
Leonard against Carter Williams. Pass to Johnson. Jacks up a three. And again, it's the Warriors missing.
Something that's kept this game.
Oh, man. Fans love that. Listen to that. I love that sound in the arena. It looks like an orange in his hand, and Kawhi tenacious to the rim for that finish.
Here's Johnson. No good, unable to end this run.
Well, he's a guy that count on to produce from the mid-range. He doesn't miss too many open looks from there.
And this is right around the time when one team might start to pull away.
Yeah, this team is looking to add to the lead, trying to put the other team away, and threatening here.
1 second left. The shot, no good.
And they just can't find a way to end this.
Thanks, David. And we'll be back shortly following halftime to get the third quarter underway.
The 2K Sports Halftime Show.
Ernie Johnson here with Shaq and Kenny, and a favorite time of the year is where Brooklyn found themselves in a close game in the first. At the end of the period, they held it.
And happy you could join us. We've got 2 quarters left to go in regulation. You look at Clyde Drexler, what a contribution so far.
And guys, we saw just how tough he can be with the step to the rim. Great job of just attacking that first half.
Yeah, nice job of carving his way to the inside with some ease. Not much resistance out there.
And we hope you've enjoyed the broadcast so far. We're halfway through the game. Checking out the group for Kenny Atkinson to start the second half. We've got Durant. Robertson is out there with Drexler. Then there's Moses Malone. And it's Leonard in at the 3, the small forward. And it's out of bounds. And they say it was last touched by Leonard. Stolen by Durant. In transition, here come the Nets. Off target there, that would have pushed the lead to double digits. Johnson outside. Brett, when you look back on all the stars you played against during your career, who was the biggest intimidator?
Well, I think about intimidating players, and the first word that comes to mind is Anthony Mason. I know he wasn't a bona fide star player, but
right.
You know the role that he had for
Yes,
the teams that he played with, and Anthony Mason was a player you did not want to be playing against. During my era, most of the years that I had some successes and minutes on the floor, it was certainly Kevin Garnett. The way that KG approached every game, and you spent many seasons watching him very closely. From year 1 to year 18 or 19, KG came at you every game, every night with the same kind of zest and excitement to compete.
Well put. Pass to Jordan. Fires from deep. Buries it from three-point range. Jordan's got 9 points.
And wasn't really a long-distance shooter in college. Jordan really worked on his range ever since being drafted.
Outside Durant from past the arc. Let's keep it alive. Malone, good.
And they're forcing the ball inside, and it's working like a charm.
And so it's Johnson who brings the ball up for the Golden State Warriors. It's a 10-point game. Here's Jordan. Malone with the block.
And how about the quicks there by Malone to get up and deter that shot, utilizing that size and reach for the rejection. Just an electricity to what Drexler can do. The leaping ability, the creativity once in air, that's elite level stuff.
And the Warriors decide to take their first time out here.
And they're allowing too many points in the paint. Coach is going to let them hear about it.
Yeah, coach knows that. They know that. In the timeout, they're going to hear about it, make the adjustment.
Looking at who's out there now for the Warriors. Thon Maker's checked in for Reed. Thomas comes in for Johnson. And John Wall subbed in for Satoransky. And then for Brooklyn, Jokic has checked in for Durant. Hood comes in for Leonard. And it's James Harden in for Clyde Drexler. Brett, when we talk about home court advantage, do you feel it's the same as it used to be? It has that same impact?
I do think it's still hugely important, Kevin. It's less important when there's a team that has been together for a long time and has proven that they can take their wares on the road and come home with a victory. But it absolutely gives you a level of comfort as a player to get into your routine, to be at a place that seems familiar. Something deep down psychologically helps every member of that team being at home.
Yeah, and this is what happens when you have a scorer like Jordan on the floor. He attracts all that attention defensively, leaving guys wide open.
Here's Harden. That one's not going to go. Wall with some nice D. Jordan against Robertson. Jordan the pass to Maker. And he makes that one. Maker's got his second basket of the game.
Getting better at keeping his balance as Thon Maker builds up his body. He'll be a little bit more rooted on the floor.
Thomas against Hill. Passes it to Harden. From deep. Again, the miss by Harden.
Having a hand up in your face makes such a difference to a shooter.
Yeah, as good as you can do without getting a block there to defend.
Here's Hill. And the call on the shot that sends him to the line. It's on Thon Maker.
Well, Well, George Hill, the veteran guard, doesn't produce at the volume he once did. Still, he brings a lot of value to a team.
And for Hill, Greg, he's a great veteran leader who brings value to a playoff-bound team.
You know, Hill has a game that is effective even when he's not scoring. His leadership and defense will make him a welcome addition to any roster, even as his numbers fade.
Well, there you go. One team operating on all cylinders at both ends, steals, fast break buckets, and the other team in scramble mode.
Wall against Harden. Wall, no luck.
And the pressure he put on that shot forced the miscue.
Those are all the little things about effort there. He just gets out there and contests, and that's just enough.
McGee up top. He's gotten some minutes, but nothing on the board yet. Just 5 on the clock. Over Maker. Hill, no good. Now here's Wall over Jokic. And that would have counted, but his shot was off the mark this time. Well, through 3/4 of play, down double digits, it may be difficult to overcome. Brooklyn ahead, leading by 14. Live from Chase Center, you're watching 2K Sports. And a quick look now at the State Farm assist of the game.
And he's always been the favorite to bag this honor. These kind of feeds are his bread and butter.
Doesn't happen with every point guard in the league as far as setting your teammates up. Lots more scorers now, but right there creating the scoring opportunity for his teammate.
And there may not be a lot of drama down the stretch as we head into the 4th quarter, but stranger things have happened. Joel Embiid out there with 3. And it's Michael Carter-Williams. Then there's Monte Moore. And it's Johnson in at the 3 spot. That's the Warriors 5. Drexler outside. Here's Harden. And contact on the shot, so he'll be shooting free throws here. And Greg, when you're discussing and comparing James Harden and what he's done these last few years, you have to do it on a very historic level.
He's going to go down as one of the best to ever play the game. His production is incredible, and the skill level really is groundbreaking. Easily the best off guard in the league.
Saransky's checked in for Monte Moore. And a switch here for Brooklyn. Kawhi Leonard is checked in for Nikola Jokic. Brooklyn leading by 14. Here's Durant. And that'll be 2 free throws coming up. Officials on the call with the foul. Magic Johnson picks one up.
Yeah, the defender overreaches there. Durant recognizes it and quickly baits him into that foul.
And even after the Achilles tear for Durant in the 2019 finals, he got a huge contract after he opted out.
Most teams felt they were willing to pay him while he rehabbed for a year. That was the case as the Nets gave him a 4-year max money deal. His next chapter is underway as he changed his number to 7.
Really, the right play defensively. If you can't block, force him to the line.
Fultz, he's checked in for Michael Carter-Williams. And both free throws good for Reed. When it comes to hustle, effort, who would you put on the floor to get those 50-50 balls that are just so important? And sometimes, with the win or loss in the balance.
And I watch Kawhi Leonard, and even though he's a superstar player, there's still some efficiency in his action to go and get that ball.
He just never stops.
He never stops. And so, yeah, he might not get dirty, but he doesn't have to because he outsmarts everybody else to get to it. And we have scrappy guys like Marcus Smart and Patrick Beverly who we've talked about as being nuisances on the court. But, those guys are invaluable to any coaching staff. And when they have those kind of plays, it just gets everybody going and brings a level of energy back to the game.
It does energize you. You're exactly right. Johnson kicks to Satoransky. And there's the pass to Embiid. And it's Drexler with the rebound.
He's going to be shaking his head on that one. Knows he missed an easy one.
Yeah, you can't make them all, and for sure you'll want him taking that kind of shot.
Defensively, you can't afford to give him that kind of look, especially down this many points.
Teachable moment there. Lapses like this are backbreakers.
Pass to Reed. Johnson outside. Here's Fultz. Reed. It's good on the putback.
Maybe he's thinking at this point, man, somebody's got to help me. I can't do this all by myself.
Now a timeout call by Brooklyn. And now let's present our Jordan Player of the Game, Kevin Durant.
And his focus, guys, has been laser sharp, and his touch from the field, flawless. The teammates have worked hard to get him the ball in some good positions, and boy, has he rewarded them with a spectacular shooting performance. Great call to keep running all those sets for him.
And as the star of this team, he knows he's going to be the object of the crowd's anger. Now let's go to the sideline and catch up with our Hall of Famer, David Aldridge.
Kevin, during that last break, I heard Kenny Atkinson talking with his team. He loves the aggressiveness on D. He said, we're doing a great job of challenging everything they're trying to do. Stay active, talk to each other, don't let up. Kevin?
Thank you, David.
How about the timing he shows there to challenge that shot?
Yeah, not easy to do there, and that's a guy that you can tell takes every possession defensively very seriously.
Outside Leonard. Pass to Drexler. To the middle.
Kick it out, man. Kick it out.
Robertson against Jordan. Robertson can't get it to go. Warriors trail by 15.
And this is going to end in a lopsided victory. I love the tenacity and aggressiveness, as well as the ability to close. You really got to give it up here for the Nets.
You know, it's tough to put your finger on the deciding factor in this one, but I'd say that the shooting accuracy made the difference.
Yeah, I think you're on point, Kevin. They got better looks, and that tends to lead to a better field goal percentage.
And it'll go down as their first official win of the new year.
And in a 3-game season series, they take the first 2, and certainly they've had the edge in this matchup.
And one of the key components to this victory, if not the biggest, was the incredible performance for Kevin Durant.
He was doing everything right, and the points came in bunches. Definitely had the hot hand.
Malone dishes to Drexler, and finished off by Drexler.
And once they smelled blood in the water, you could see the killer instinct take over.
Yeah, up until that point, a competitive game, but once they broke through that barrier, it was all them. Complete control.
Shot clock and game clock separated by less than 6 seconds. Pass to Embiid. Over Malone. Again, Embiid missing. And here is Robertson. And so it's Brooklyn easily grabbing this one. To come into an opponent's building and dominate the way they did tonight says, I think, Greg, an awful lot about this team.
I guess they don't need home cooking to feel at home. I mean, Kevin, just a masterful performance all the way around.
It's time now to go courtside as we send you over to David Aldridge from the sideline. David, take it away.
Thanks very much. Kevin, how did you guys get this win?
All right, David, great job. Thanks so much. Well, folks, that's going to do it for now. For Greg Anthony, Brett Barry, and David Aldridge, this is Kevin Harlan. Thank you for watching the